So yeah, first things first, we're going to be taking a look at the EA Star Wars trailer for their game Star Wars Fallen Jedi. No, that's not right. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's it. I keep wanting to call it Fallen Jedi or yeah, Star Wars Fallen Jedi. I think that's a better title. Am I right? I mean, I think it is. I think I just named it a better title. I think I did. EA, I'm not going to charge you for that. But anyway, yeah, it came out. It came out yesterday, and we actually did a story on this on the site. I definitely recommend you go and just check it out. The story that we did was essentially why this may be EA's last shot with the Star Wars license and making a good Star Wars game. And that story is up on the site. Definitely take time to read that and check it out. But the gist of it is the fact that EA is a company that kind of is going through a PR crisis right now. They're not terribly... I don't want to say they're not terribly liked in the industry because obviously they still make, they can make good games. They're still making money hand over fist, but they're very aware of the fact that they've screwed the pooch on a couple things, specifically the microtransaction issue. Right around the time Force Awakens was set to launch, or was it? I believe it was either Force Awakens or was it Last Jedi? No, it was Force Awakens because they actually did DLC for the game that actually related to Jakku, which was in Force Awakens. And I remember reading stories, I'm sure everybody else did, the fact that they messed up the microtransaction situation with that so badly, and people were so pissed off about that Star Wars game, which was just a remake of, it was like the reboot of Battlefront. The Disney execs, or I guess whoever is either someone from Lucasfilm or the Disney exec, had to basically go to EA and say, look, this is a closed door meeting. You guys have got to fix this. You got to fix it now because we have this multi-million-dollar blockbuster Star Wars film that's coming out, and you guys are killing our hype for it. It's all this bad will tied up in the Star Wars game. We can't have that. So, and to be honest, things didn't really get all that better over time. EA tried to do what they could to fix it, but the ship had kind of sailed on that model of the game. And of course, they turned off the microtransaction for a while, and then they turned it back on. And obviously, it's not just the Star Wars games that's giving EA problems. They kind of have a general marketing problem anyway, in the sense that their approach to how they're bringing games to the market is not something gamers and industry people, specifically on the journalistic side, are completely happy with. So they probably know in their hearts that this game has to work specifically for the Star Wars license, or it might be one of those things where, and to be honest, I'm not sure what the deal is with EA and Lucasfilm or Disney or however that works out. They may be coming to a close on that already. I'm not sure how many years they had on that, but I'm sure the folks that specifically manage the Star Wars license of that division have no problem pulling that license if this game is not a success. So EA really needs to hit a home run with it. Now, I can tell you that from the early rumblings that I've read about, and I haven't actually seen any gameplay yet, which is why I'm really excited about watching this. I know a little bit about, I know the gist of the story and kind of what they were looking to do. But so far, it looks like it may be a really good game. I'm hoping it's going to be a game. So we'll go ahead and actually, or I'm hoping it's going to be a good game. So we're going to go ahead and get this loaded up because I'm really excited about seeing it. It's fixed here. So we are going to take a look and see how it turned out. Fingers crossed. I have high hopes for this game. Let's take a look.
Wasn't always like this.
I like the actor they have playing the main character, by the way. I'll talk about that in a minute. From Gotham.
There are 3 rules to survive.
So they're clearly like
Stand out.
It's like an underground thing, and they're in hiding.
Accept the past.
So he's clearly a Padawan disguised as like a junker or a traitor or like a mercenary. So he's working in some kind of industrial thing.
The galaxy's changed.
It looks like some Republic era gear they're cutting up. Don't use the Force. Don't do it. You're gonna give yourself away.
Don't reach within.
See, he messed up. Now they know he's a Jedi. A wannabe Jedi. This sounds very Avenger-ish. The soundtrack.
Accept the past.
Execute Order 66.
Got some Palpatine in there. Love it. New stormtroopers. We'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, there you go. If he had just let that guy die, I mean, that wouldn't have been very Jedi-like, but still. Whoa. Nice.
Trust only in the Force.
And then you got the broken saber there. I wonder what's up with that. If you notice in the graphic art and in the trailer, the end of the lightsaber is broken off. I wonder what that's about. I'm sure we'll find out. Coming in November. It's a good piece away, but Jedi Order, Fallen Order, coming November 15th. Okay. So, initial thoughts. All right, so I'm going to say right off the bat, this reminds me of The Force Unleashed. Now, I can tell you, I friggin' love those two games. Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, they were out for the previous generation, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, I believe. I'm sure it got a port. I played it on the 360. I love those games. Now, the reason I love those games is because I was an old school Shadows of the Empire fan back on PC and N64. I know that they have done shooters to death for Star Wars. Obviously, there's tons of like X-Wing style flying missions and things like that, and that all makes sense because those are big aspects of the Star Wars franchise. They've even had Star Wars fighting games back on the original PlayStation. For me personally, I love the action-adventure style hack and slash Star Wars games. I think Force Unleashed did it the best. I hated to see the third Force Unleashed get canceled. It was because LucasArts basically folded because they were bought out, and they pretty much shelved any currently in development LucasArts games, and that The Force Unleashed 3 was one of them. I was really looking forward to that. I love those series. This looks like it could be in that, like it's harkening back to that style. So I really love that. That looks really fun. There's a couple other things about the story. Now, the game, from what I know, it takes place immediately after Revenge of the Sith, right after the Jedi are basically wiped out, and before the prequel trilogies, all we knew about that period between, like before New Hope, was that Vader he was sent to hunt down all the remaining Jedi. Well, now we're seeing that it wasn't just Vader. First of all, we saw new stormtroopers, and it seems like every time we turn around, every time a new game comes out, they introduce a new kind of stormtrooper that we never saw before. Even though they're nowhere in any of the movies, there's so many different stormtroopers out there. It's ridiculous. And now we got another one. We got kind of like what is essentially the Death Squad version of the stormtroopers, where they're actually going to be going out and helping hunt down the remaining Jedi and the remaining Padawans, which obviously the character here, who's the actor is actually, it's Cameron Monaghan, who plays the Joker on Gotham, the TV series Gotham. Great. Loved him in that show. Glad to see that he's going to be involved in the game. But you notice there was kind of a main bad guy that jumped on the ship at the end. And I had read about that character. I think it's called the Inquisitor, if I'm not mistaken. Immediately what I noticed about that is there is no way a normal person would be, like a normal stormtrooper would be able to do what she's doing or he's doing. I think, I want to say it's a female character, but I'm not 100% sure. The point is, that is probably either a Dark Jedi or maybe, could it be another Sith or something? They clearly are using some kind of force power there. So that's exciting. The trailer looks awesome. I have high hopes for this game. I am going to absolutely play it at launch. I'm sure we will review it on the site. You can almost certainly guarantee that. I really, really, and EA, if you're watching, I really want you to have a win here. This is important not only to the Star Wars license itself, it's important to, EA as a company, it's important to me as a fan. I want to love this game. I'm going to play it. I'll probably finish it unless it's something crazy happens where I can't get through it or something like that. But I absolutely want to love this game. It looks awesome, and I'm really excited for it. So November 15th, and hopefully around that time we're going to have a lot more Rise of Skywalker footage, which we're going to be talking about here in a minute. But yeah, I absolutely want them to do well with this, because I honestly don't think you're going to see any other EA licensed Star Wars games if this doesn't do well. Now, it's also important to remember here, EA was not really... They were in a situation where they weren't going to be the only one bidding on this license. It's not really... You can't really blame them for the license landing with them, and I'll tell you why. There was a similar situation years ago, probably back in the early to mid-2000s, where EA became the sole producer of NFL licensed games, specifically Madden. Everybody got really ticked off at that, and they were like, oh, I can't believe you did that, and you're cutting out all these other, franchises that also have a right to use it, and blah, blah, blah. The thing is, it wasn't EA's call to do that. The NFL decided we would probably make more money licensing this out in one big payment or bundle of cash to one company rather than give it out to everybody. They figured one company would pay more to get it exclusively. EA just snatched it up. It was good business, and I can't blame them. And if you were going to have a company that has a proven track record of making good sports games, if it was going to go to one, EA is probably the company that you would want to handle it. Same situation here. You could say what you want about EA and their PR issues and their bad decision making on a lot of the financial aspect of it that relates to people like us. They're in a situation where if they were going to be offered a license, if this license was going to go to anyone, and Disney and Disney owning Star Wars, they're the ones that they're going to decide who gets this license. So if they are going to pick a company that's going to go to, it's not necessarily going to result in being a bad game just because EA has it. In fact, EA can make really great games when they really put their mind to it, when they have all their ducks in a row and they're not being distracted by, business-making decisions. As you can see in this trailer, it looks like they finally have a clear-cut vision for what a good Star Wars game could be like. My fingers are crossed. I hope it works out. And we'll continue to cover it not only on the site, but we'll probably do some additional live streaming if they do kind of an open beta or maybe even a private beta. So we'll be definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. I really want you to have a win here, EA. So I'm rooting for you. Don't let me down.